Chapter 2034 Suspected Human. What's going on? In the shadow space, the goblin magician came in and scared Yangxia and Zhou Haimei. This ugly creature looks like a large rat and is indeed unpleasant. But everyone else has seen big scenes, especially Zhou Qi. As a doctor, she has touched the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys with her own hands. How could she be afraid of this thing? The goblin magician was suddenly thrown into a strange space, with only fear and despair left. He knelt on the ground, screaming and kowtowing continuously. Uncle Yu walked over, grabbed him by the collar, and lifted him up. How do we study it? Should we bleed it first? Uncle Yu asked Zhou Qi for his opinion. He wanted to use the same method of killing a chicken to deal with the old goblin. Zhou Qi said, "Let's study living beings. That would be more valuable." As she spoke, she brought over a large toolbox from the side and opened it skillfully. A dazzling light flashed, revealing the true appearance of the props in the toolbox. Surgeons, axes, saws, laser cutters, all kinds of surgical instruments are available. Well, the best doctors are about the same as butchers. She first picked up a device used to draw blood and held it up. "Let's draw some blood first. Then we can take some biological tissue for observation." The goblin magician's desperate voice sounded in the shadow space. Yang Xia and others couldn't bear to watch it. Even though Yang Xinxin and Lu Karen were used to seeing war scenes, they still felt some physiological discomfort with this kind of delicate cutting surgery. Zhang Yi was sitting on a stool. Li Changgong came over, picked up the broken bowl next to him and smelled it, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. "It smells pretty good, very sweet. Lao Zhang, do you want to try it?" Li Changgong handed the bowl to Zhang Yi with a smile. Zhang Yi ignored his teasing. "If you like to taste it, just do it yourself." Li Changgong shrugged his shoulders. Of course he would not eat such a thing casually, so he put it down. "This world is more complicated than you think," Zhang Yi said in a low voice. Li Changgong shrugged. "Why? Isn't it just an ordinary different world? With our current strength, we can kill people in this world. We can even be the king." "Of course, you still think everything here is fake. Let's wait and see." Zhang Yi did not continue this topic. He wanted to see Zhou Qi's research results. Zhou Qi was very efficient. In less than 10 minutes, she gave Zhang Yi a piece of explosive information. "Zhang Yi, these goblin-like creatures, I doubt they are human." "What?" When everyone heard the news, they were all puzzled. Even Yang Xinxin fell into deep thought. It shouldn't be like this. This doesn't make sense. How could there be real humans in Mammon's dream? Zhang Yi immediately asked, "Why do you think so?" Zhou Qi said, "The biological structures are similar. Although there are some differences, their brains are well developed and they are intelligent creatures. Their intelligence level is even higher than that of gorillas and dolphins. Moreover, the most important thing is that they have the same substance called spirit as humans." Everyone was silent. If these goblins are a subspecies of humans, then where are they? Isn't it said that the purpose of Drucker's existence is to devour everything? An entire world has evolved in their bodies and humans still survive here? No, there are humans in this world too. So, what are the people of Helen Country? Zhang Yi suddenly stood up, with some guesses in his mind. "Come on, it's time for us to go." Li Changgong followed him and said, "Directly attack the Demon King's main formation? Let's go to the royal city first. There is one more thing I need to verify." Zhang Yi's eyes were burning. Monsters are human, so what are humans? I must know. They rushed to the royal city without stopping, and the whole journey took less than an hour. By the time they arrived at the royal city, Mel had already had rooms prepared for them. At this time in the palace, several elite warriors dressed in various professional uniforms, standing with glorious faces. There are twin magicians, a tall dragon blood warrior with long red hair and pointed horns on his head, and a holy female priest in a white robe. Mel stood in front of them, smiling warmly. "The hero has appeared. You all need to cooperate with him to defeat the Demon King together. Please remember, the brave are our hope and can bring peace to Helen Country." So, you must make him the center. And she raised the corners of her mouth slightly. Meet all his requests. These professional adventurers had unhappy expressions on their faces, and most of them were blushing. Mel specially selected elite adventurers, all of whom were young and beautiful women. For example, there were two magician sisters with the attributes of fire and water, Enix the fire magician and Stella the water magician. Apart from their different hair colors, there was almost no difference between them. Their 1.5-meter height and cute faces always made people unable to take their eyes off them. Phil, the tall and heroic-looking red-haired dragon girl, is 2 meters tall and can satisfy the desire to conquer many men. The priest in a white robe, with his ascetic expression and angelic face, can make people secretly have countless fantasies. As the successor to the kingdom, Mel is absolutely capable and knows how to arrange personnel work. Zhang Yi and Li Changgong are here. When these adventurers saw them, they immediately understood their identities. Although there was some embarrassment on their faces, they were all secretly looking at Zhang Yi. They also want to know what kind of handsome face this man has under his armor. And what kind of powerful hero is he who can lead them to defeat the devil? Mel came over with a smile and said to Zhang Yi, Mr. Brave Chaos, you are here? Please take a look. These are the partners I carefully selected for you. They are all the best adventurers, and they will provide you with the greatest help in your process of defeating the Demon King. Moreover, they will obey your orders wholeheartedly. Mel's smile grew wider. In the shadow space, the women's faces turned a little ugly. Although there is no shortage of beautiful women around Zhang Yi, they are still wary of these beauties from another world. Zhang Yi glanced at them. Some of them were aloof, some were timid, and some held their heads high and held their chests out to show their style. Chapter 2035, I don't have that kind of worldly desire. Zhang Yi nodded. They came at the right time. So he stretched out his hand, pointed at the female adventurers and said, Let them come to my room. I need their help with something urgent. Mel's expression was almost unbearable. You are a brave man after all. Are you so anxious? But she still nodded and said, Okay. Zhang Yi didn't waste any time and waved to the female adventurers. The female adventurers looked at Mel and followed Zhang Yi at Mel's signal. On the way, the enthusiastic dragon girl Phil started to find topics to talk about with Zhang Yi. Mr. Brave, where are you from? I heard that you were summoned from another world by the goddess. Can you tell us about it? The other women also looked curious. Don't worry. Zhang Yi smiled and opened the door. I'll tell you slowly after we get in. We have plenty of time today. The room that Mel prepared for him was very large, with a super luxurious big bed that could easily accommodate a dozen people. The faces of several female adventurers were all red, especially the twin magicians. They were still very young, and even though they were mentally prepared, they were still not used to it. Is it that there are too many people? How about we split up? Zhang Yi waved his hand. There's no need to be so troublesome. More people saves time. He lowered his voice. Xin, do it. Yang Xin appeared in the shadows, and the huge fallen angel puppet filled the entire room. Before the female adventurers could come to their senses, a regular arrow had already shot into their bodies. Zhou Kuo also came out with the tools and walked through the corridor very skillfully, drawing blood from them and cutting their nails and hair for testing. Zhang Yi sat on the soft big bed, supporting his chin with his hands crossed, staring at Zhou Kuo's work. We have verified that the monsters in this place have spirits just like humans. So, what about the humans here? I am curious. What would happen if there was? Changgong asked. Zhang Yi raised his head and looked deeply at the longbow. After a while, he slowly said, That proves a guess, a very scary guess. Mammon, like the creator Kagago, has the ability to create living beings. Then the world we live in is not an illusion. It is a real world. If that were the case, Zhang Yi could draw a surprising conclusion. That is why in ancient times, many gods had the title of creator god. For example, Zhulong was once called the god of creation. Kagago, who possesses the supreme will of the etheric combination, can create the world by reducing dimensions. Does this mean that even humans can possess such abilities as long as they have strong spirituality? For example, the Tianyu Palace space of the Yihan clan. The reason why the giant god Struck cannot be destroyed by the creator and may even deprive the creator of his divinity is probably because they have the ability to create their own world. The souls devoured by Mammon were not integrated into his body, but formed new creatures in the world he created. This is the truth of the other world. Zhou Qir's research results came out. She looked at Zhang Yi with a somewhat surprised expression and nodded at him. Zhang Yi, it's just as you guessed. The humans in this place are actually the same as us. They are not NPCs or hallucinations but real people. When these words came out, everyone in the room was shocked. We discovered an entire world inside Mammon? This is incredible. Fatty Su covered his head and exclaimed, "It turns out that the other world really exists." Yang Xinxin's eyes flickered with a faint light, and she murmured, "They have established their own kingdom of God to fight against the will of the Creator. They have changed the reincarnation rules of the three-dimensional world. Is this the power of the third generation of humans?" But a weak voice came from the side. It was Mu Yan, who had always had little presence. She had a black veil over her eyes, rarely spoke, and most of the time people would forget she existed. For the people in this world, this place is real. Whether it's the kingdom or the Demon King's army, these are their real-life experiences. In fact, isn't our world like this? It's a designed world, and we are lost in it. Zhang Yi raised his hand to stop this philosophical discussion from continuing. Okay, no more talking. We don't have time to discuss these nihilistic things now. Let's discuss the ideals and meaning of life when we are bored. Now I just want to get rid of the Demon King as soon as possible, seal Mammon, and leave this place. Zhang Yi did not take any risks to do anything to those women. After realizing that they were not NPCs, Zhang Yi's attitude towards them became much better. Of course, he asked Yang Xinxin to erase her memory of what happened before. Several female adventurers saw that Zhang Yi didn't seem to have much interest in them, and they felt sad instead. They can accept the voluntary sacrifice of heroes for the sake of the country and the nation. After all, no matter how you look at it, Zhang Yi is both courage and strength, so they are not at a disadvantage. But when the person is right in front of you, you don't even take a bite. This obviously hits their self-confidence and makes them seriously doubt their own charm. The several female adventurers that Mel selected were all the most outstanding in Helen Country. They might not be the best in ability, but their looks and figures were impeccable. In order to satisfy Zhang Yi's appetite, we specially put together several different types. Dragon Girl Phil rolled her red hair with her fingers, her eyes wandering, her face flushed as she said, "Well, we will be heading out to fight the Demon King's army tomorrow. It will definitely be a tough battle for 10 hours, so why not let someone help you relax tonight?" Zhang Yi said coldly, "No, I like quietness. You can all take a rest. When we meet in the square tomorrow morning, we will set off for the Warcraft Mountain Range." Zhang Yi is a gentleman. How could he do something like that with a female adventurer in front of a group of people in the shadow space? So he resolutely kicked them out of his room. A group of female adventurers looked at the closed door in front of them, each with a look of unwillingness on their face. Damn it! Am I so unattractive? This is unbelievable. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Forget it. Maybe he still can't let go now. Let's just take it slow. The fire magician Stella comforted the dragon girl Phil. Phil sighed. But how are we going to explain this to Princess Mel? I had no choice but to report truthfully. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.